All right, welcome to the explainer. We live in a world that's just flooded with information, right? So how do you make your message actually stick? Well, today we're going to cut through all that noise by breaking down a really clear 5-step content marketing strategy using an awesome framework from Stephanie Diamond. So to kind of set the scene here, think about this for a second. Some research from the Statistic Brain Institute showed that back in 2015, the average human attention span had dropped to just 8.25 seconds. That's down from 12 seconds back in 2000. And get this, it's supposedly less than a goldfish's. So you see, the real challenge here isn't just grabbing someone's attention for a split second. It's about earning a real connection. It's about creating content that truly resonates, that gives people value, and that makes an impact that lasts. So how do we even do that? Okay, so the way we're going to tackle this is with a simple but super powerful framework, the 5 C's. You can think of it as our roadmap, really. It's going to guide us through everything from figuring out our core foundation all the way to analyzing and improving what we do. All right, let's just jump right in with our first C, company focus. Look, before you can say anything meaningful to the outside world, you've got to be absolutely crystal clear about who you are on the inside. And this right here, this is a really critical distinction to make. Your business model, that's the how. It's all the internal stuff, how you actually make money. For Apple, the model is selling gadgets. But your brand, that's the what. That's the story people tell themselves about you, the feeling they get. For Apple, that's all about innovation and being part of a community.
And that brand story, it's all guided by your mission. That mission is your North Star. Think about a company like Warby Parker. They don't just sell glasses at a fair price, right? Their social mission is baked into their identity. Or IKEA, affordable, good design. When you have that kind of clarity, it gives everyone, your team and your customers, something real to believe in.
And man, this quote from Simon Sinek just hits the nail on the head. It gets right to the heart of why that internal clarity is so important. I mean, think about it. If your own team isn't fired up about the mission, how on earth can you expect your customers to be? The passion is contagious, but it's got to start at home. So when you have that internal belief, it naturally leads to something experts call a culture of content. This is where creating great stuff isn't just siloed away in the marketing department. Nope, it's a mindset that the whole company gets behind, which leads to way richer, more authentic ideas. Okay, so let's move on to the second C, and you'll see how this all starts to connect. Now that we have that solid foundation in place, it's time to turn our focus outward and really develop a deep, empathetic understanding of our audience. In this noisy world, it's so easy to just chase buzz, likes, shares, that fleeting moment in the spotlight. But what we're really after is impact. And to get there, we can use what are called attention triggers. Now, this isn't about cheap gimmicks. This is about providing real value, maybe through a cool content series that unfolds over time, or using your content to deliver amazing customer service, or even building interactive tools that your audience can actually use. So, who exactly are we trying to reach? Well, that's where buyer personas come in. These aren't just guesses. They're super detailed profiles of your ideal customer. And they're built on hard data from your customer records, what people are searching for, and even free tools like Social Mention that let you listen in on online conversations. But hey, a quick word of warning here. Your personas are only as good as the data you put into them, so you have to avoid the trap of just going with your gut. And this is a big one. Don't only talk to your happy customers. Honestly, some of your most valuable insights are going to come from finding out why people didn't choose you. All right, so once you really know your customer, you have to meet them where they are. And let's be real, in today's world, that journey is messy and all over the place, which brings us to our third C, channel promotion. I want you to think of this as a strategic map for your content. Someone who's just realizing they have a problem, they probably need a blog post. But someone who's ready to buy, they're looking for a case study or a demo. The whole key here is matching the right content to the right moment in their journey. And here's the thing. Customers more and more expect this kind of personalized experience. But there's this huge gap between what they expect and what most companies are actually doing. Over half of companies aren't using any tech to personalize their websites. That is a massive opportunity if you can get it right. Okay, so this naturally leads us to our fourth C, content creation, and, just as important, amplification. See, it's not enough to just make great stuff. You have to have a smart plan to make sure people actually see it and share it.
A modern strategy can't just rely on one thing. You've got to integrate everything using what's called the PISO model. This just means you're balancing your paid media, like ads, with your owned assets, like your website, your shared content on social, and earned media, which is basically just good old-fashioned word of mouth from reviews and PR.
And there are some really smart ways to amplify your message. You can syndicate your content on partner sites to get more eyeballs on it. Just be sure to use a canonical tag. It's just a little piece of code that tells Google where the original is, so your SEO is safe. You can also write guest posts, team up with trusted influencers, or even better, turn your happiest customers into your biggest cheerleaders. All right, and that brings us to the final and maybe most important step that ties this whole thing together. Our fifth C is check back analysis. Because content marketing is not a set it and forget it kind of deal. It's a continuous loop of learning and getting better. To really do this well, you have to adopt a fail-fast mindset. This isn't about getting it perfect right out of the gate. It's about being willing to try things, to see what works, learn super quickly from what doesn't, and then constantly tweak your strategy based on what you're seeing in the real world. Yeah, this is not a one-and-done task. It's a constant cycle. You should be regularly asking yourselves, is our brand perception still matching up with our business model? Are our metrics actually showing we're hitting our goals? And maybe most importantly, what are our customers telling us right now? And here's where you can really see how this all connects and becomes this self-improving engine. Your core company focus informs how you treat the customer experience. That guides your channel strategy, which then shapes your content, and the data you get back from all that, it feeds right back into refining your foundation. It's this awesome virtuous cycle where every single step makes the next one even smarter. So as we start to wrap this up, I want to leave you with one final thought. Just think about this whole 5 C's framework for a second, from your internal mission all the way to your customer's journey and back again. What's just one small thing you heard today that you could apply or maybe just test out in your own work, starting like right now?